Hello, and welcome to the English Channel, a simple space for curious minds and growing English skills. We explore exciting topics, amazing books, and real-life ideas, all in clear, easy English. Whether you're learning words, practicing listening, or just love good stories, this podcast is for you.
Welcome, everyone, to The Deep Dive. I'm Liam.
And I'm Lisa. Great to be here. Today, we're jumping into something really fascinating, designed especially for you.
Yeah, we're looking at how to nurture a child's developing mind. It touches pretty much all of us in some way, right?
Absolutely. And we want to get practical. We're talking about strategies, techniques backed by science, really grounded in how kids' brains actually work.
Exactly. No abstract theories today. This is about actionable stuff.
And it's super relevant if you're, say, between 18 and 40. Maybe you're a parent now, maybe thinking about it.
Or maybe you have younger siblings, nieces, nephews.
Right. Or even if you're just interested in, human development and emotional intelligence, understanding this stuff can actually teach you a lot about yourself, too.
Definitely. You can shed light on your own emotional reactions, maybe even stuff from your past.
So our plan today is to walk you through 12 pretty clear strategies. They're all based on neuroscience.
And the goal is to help you support kids' emotional smarts, their resilience, help them find balance in their behavior. Think of it as a toolkit.
A toolkit, exactly, based on how the brain develops. So where should we kick things off?
Let's start with number 1, connect and redirect.
Okay, connect and redirect. The big idea here is when a child is really upset, like emotionally flooded.
Yeah, totally overwhelmed.
Their logical brain, the left side, it's kind of offline. So trying to reason with them in that moment, it just doesn't work.
It's like shouting instructions at someone wearing noise-canceling headphones. Pointless.
Exactly. So the first thing you absolutely have to do is connect emotionally. Acknowledge what they're feeling. Use your own right brain to connect with their right brain.
Show them you get it. You see they're upset or angry or scared.
Precisely. You tune in. Only after you've made that connection and they start to calm down a bit, then you can bring in the logic, the redirection, the guidance.
Okay, so give us an example. Like the classic supermarket meltdown over a toy.
Right. So instead of immediately saying, no, put that back, we're not buying that, which often escalates things. You connect first. Something like, wow, you really like that toy. I see how much you want it, and you look so disappointed we can't get it today.
Just naming it, acknowledging the feeling.
Yes. That simple act of validating their emotion can be incredibly calming. Then, once there's a little space, you redirect. We can't get it right now, but hey, maybe we could take a picture and put it on your birthday list.
Connection first, then guidance. Got it. What's next?
Strategy 2 is name it to tame it. This one's fascinating.
Name it to tame it. Sounds catchy. What's the neuroscience behind that?
Well, it turns out that the simple act of putting feelings into words actually helps calm the emotional circuitry in the brain.
How does that work?
When a child or even an adult describes what they're feeling, I feel angry, I'm scared, I'm frustrated, it engages the left brain, the more logical side. It brings language and reasoning online.
So it helps bring balance back. Less overwhelming emotion, more understanding.
Exactly. Narrating the experience, talking about it, makes those big, scary emotions feel more manageable. It integrates the left and right brain.
Okay, practical example. Maybe a nightmare.
Perfect. A child wakes up terrified from a bad dream. Instead of just saying, it was only a dream, go back to sleep.
Which doesn't always help much when they're still feeling the fear.
Right. You encourage them to talk about it. Tell me about the dream. What happened? What was the scary part? Helping them put words to the images and feelings helps process it, integrate the experience, and lessen the fear. Naming it tames it.
Makes sense. Okay, strategy 3.
Engage, don't enrage. This focuses on our response when kids push boundaries or misbehave.
Engage, don't enrage. Okay, so what's the contrast here? What are we not doing?
Well, the enrage part refers to responses that trigger a child's own reactive state. Think yelling, immediate harsh punishments, things that basically put them on the defensive or shut them down.
Right, which often just makes things worse. You get into a power struggle.
Precisely. It activates their lower, more primitive brain regions, the fight, flight, or freeze response. It doesn't engage the part of their brain responsible for thinking, learning, and problem solving.
So the engage part is about...
It's about appealing to their higher brain. Instead of just reacting, you engage their thinking mind. You ask questions, promote empathy, involve them in finding solutions, it fosters cooperation and understanding, not just compliance out of fear.
Okay, let's use homework refusal. Kid just won't start.
Okay. An enraging response might be, do your homework now, or you're grounded. Lots of heat, probably not much learning.
Right, and probably a meltdown.
Probably. An engaging response might sound more like, hey, I see you haven't started your homework. What's up? Is something making it hard to get going?
So you're opening a dialogue, trying to understand the obstacle.
Exactly. Maybe they're stuck, maybe they're tired, maybe they're feeling overwhelmed. Once you understand, you can work with them. Okay, seems like that math is tricky. How about we tackle the first problem together? You're engaging their thinking brain to solve the problem.
Much more constructive. Leads us nicely into number 4. Use it or lose it.
Yeah, this one's fundamental to how the brain develops any skill. Neural pathways get stronger with practice.
Like learning an instrument or a sport. The more you practice, the better you get, the more automatic it becomes.
Exactly the same principle applies to things like decision-making, emotional regulation, problem-solving. These are skills the brain needs to practice.
So if we want kids to develop these skills, we have to give them chances to. Hell, use them.
We do. If we constantly make every decision for them or swoop in to fix every little emotional wobble immediately, their brain doesn't get the workout it needs to build those circuits.
It's like keeping training wheels on a bike forever. They never learn to balance on their own.
Good analogy. So we need to intentionally provide opportunities. Even small ones count.
Like what?
Letting a child choose their own clothes in the morning within reasonable limits, of course.
Yeah, maybe not pajamas to school, but red shirt or blue shirt.
Exactly. Or letting them help plan a small part of the weekend, like deciding which park to go to. Letting them try to resolve a minor squabble with a sibling before you jump in. Each choice, each attempt to manage an emotion is practice. It's using those brain circuits.
Use it or lose it. Okay, number 5. Move it or lose it. This sounds active.
It is. This highlights the really strong connection between our physical body and our emotional state. Moving our bodies can actually change our mood and help us regulate emotions.
We all kind of know this intuitively, right? Going for a walk when you're stressed, dancing around the kitchen.
Exactly. Dr. Dan Siegel, whose work informs a lot of these strategies, talks about how bodily movement can shift a stuck emotional state. It helps integrate the brain and body.
So when a child is stuck in a funk, like really frustrated or grumpy,
getting them moving can be a powerful tool. Instead of just saying, calm down, which, let's be honest,
well,
rarely works.
Never works.
Right. Try suggesting some movement. Hey, you seem really frustrated. How about we put on some music and have a quick dance party? Or let's go outside and kick a ball around for a few minutes.
It helps burn off that negative energy and kind of resets the system.
It really can. Physical activity changes brain chemistry, releases tension, and can genuinely shift their emotional state, making it easier for them to then process things or talk about what's wrong.
Move it or lose it. I like that one. What's strategy 6?
Number 6 is use the remote of the mind.
The remote of the mind. Okay, intriguing. Like a mental TV remote.
Sort of. It's about teaching children that they can mentally pause, rewind, and fast forward through their experiences, especially challenging ones. It gives them a sense of control over how they process events.
Explain that a bit more. How does that work?
Okay, imagine a child had a really difficult interaction at school, maybe an argument with a friend. Later, when they're calm, you can help them use their remote.
So you'd say something like,
okay, let's rewind that moment in your mind. What happened right before the argument started? Press pause. What were you thinking then? What were you feeling?
Ah. So you're helping them replay it slowly, step by step.
Exactly. Now, let's play it forward a bit. What did you say? What did your friend do? Pause again. How did that feel? It helps them dissect the experience without being overwhelmed by it in the moment.
And maybe even fast forward to think about different outcomes.
Yes. If you could rewind and try that moment again, is there anything you might do differently? It helps them reflect, understand cause and effect, and feel more empowered to handle similar situations in the future. It builds self-awareness and problem-solving skills.
That's a really clever tool. Okay, number 7. Remember to remember.
This one's about intentionally bringing past experiences into present awareness, making memories explicit.
Why is that important? just for reminiscing.
It's more than that. Actively recalling and talking about past events, both positive and negative, strengthens the neural pathways related to those memories. But crucially, it also helps children make sense of their life story and learn from their experiences.
So it helps build a coherent narrative of their life.
Exactly. It integrates past experiences into their understanding of who they are and how the world works. It enhances their ability to learn and adapt.
Can you give an example of putting this into practice?
Sure. Let's say a child is feeling anxious about starting a new school year.
Okay, common scenario.
Instead of just dismissing the anxiety, you could use remember to remember. Ask them questions like, remember last year, before school started, you felt a bit nervous then too, didn't you? What helped you feel better?
Recalling past coping strategies.
Yes, or remember that fun project you did in Mrs. Davis's class? What did you enjoy about that? Recalling positive past school experiences can balance out the current anxiety. You're activating those memory networks to build confidence and reassurance based on their own history.
Making the past a resource for the present. Nice. Okay, strategy 8.
Let the clouds of emotion roll by. This is about teaching emotional transience.
Emotional transience, meaning emotions don't last forever.
Exactly. It's teaching children that feelings, even really strong or uncomfortable ones, are like clouds passing through the sky. They arrive, they hang around for a bit, but they will eventually move on. They are temporary states, not permanent traits.
That seems incredibly important for resilience. When you're in the middle of feeling really sad or angry, it can feel all-consuming, like it's going to last forever.
It absolutely can feel that way. So this strategy involves acknowledging the feeling, I see you're feeling really sad right now, but also gently introducing the idea of its temporary nature.
How would you phrase that?
You might say, it's okay to feel sad. Sadness is like a cloud passing through. It feels big right now, but it won't stay forever. The feeling will pass.
So you're validating the feeling, but also offering perspective and hope.
Precisely. It helps children understand that they are not their emotions. They can feel sad without being a sad person. It reduces the fear of the emotion itself and builds confidence that they can ride it out.
Like watching clouds drift by. Okay, number 9 involves an acronym, SIF.
Yes, SIFT. It stands for sensations, images, feelings, and thoughts.
Sensations, images, feelings, thoughts. What's the purpose of sifting?
It's a technique to help children and adults become more aware of their internal landscape. It encourages them to tune in and notice what's actually happening inside them when they're experiencing something, particularly an emotion.
So it's about increasing self-awareness, kind of like mindfulness.
Very much so.
Yeah.
It breaks down the internal experience into different components, making it easier to understand. Let's use an example, maybe a child feeling anxious about performing in a school play.
Okay, how would you use SIFT there?
You gently guide them to notice, okay, you're feeling anxious, let's sift through it. What sensations do you notice in your body right now? Like butterflies in your stomach, tense shoulders. Are there any images that come to mind when you think about the play, like seeing the audience?
Right.
What's the main feeling you're noticing? Is it just anxiety or maybe excitement too?
Okay.
And what thoughts are going through your head? Like, what if I forget my lines? Or I hope people like it.
So by separating it out, it becomes less of a big, scary blob of anxiety and more distinct parts you can look at.
Exactly. It brings clarity. Understanding these different elements, the physical sensations, the mental pictures, the specific feelings, the accompanying thoughts, helps children get a handle on their experience and is often the first step toward regulating it.
SIFT. That's a powerful tool. Leads us to number 10, exercise mindsight.
Mindsight. This is a term coined by Dr. Siegel, referring to the ability to understand one's own mind and the minds of others.
So it's about insight into yourself and empathy towards others.
Precisely. Exercising mindsight involves developing that capacity for self-reflection, understanding why you feel or think a certain way, and also the ability to step into someone else's shoes and imagine their perspective, their feelings, their thoughts.
How do you exercise that?
Through conversation and reflection, especially after interactions or conflicts. For example, after a disagreement between siblings.
Okay.
You could talk to one child individually. When your brother took your toy, how did that make you feel inside? What thoughts did you have? That's the insight part.
Looking inwards.
Then you encourage empathy. I wonder how your brother might have been feeling when he did that. What do you think he might have wanted?
Trying to see it from the other side.
Yes, it's not about excusing behavior, but about understanding the internal world, both your own and others. Regularly engaging in these kinds of reflections helps build those crucial mindset skills, which are fundamental for emotional intelligence and healthy relationships.
Makes total sense. Okay, number 11 sounds like fun. Increase the family fun factor.
It is fun, and it's genuinely important for brain development. This strategy emphasizes the power of positive, enjoyable, shared experiences within the family.
So basically, having fun together is good for kids' brains.
Absolutely. When families engage in activities that everyone enjoys, it does several things. It strengthens relational bonds, reduces stress hormones, releases positive neurochemicals like dopamine and oxytocin.
The feel-good chemicals.
Exactly. All of this creates a secure, positive emotional environment, which is optimal for brain development and learning. It builds resilience and positive associations with family connection.
And we're not necessarily talking about elaborate vacations, right?
Not at all. It's often the simple things. Regular family game nights, cooking or baking together, going for walks or bike rides, reading aloud, having silly dance parties in the living room.
Just carving out time for shared joy and connection.
Yes. Those moments build a reservoir of positive relational experiences that buffer stress and promote well-being for everyone in the family. Don't underestimate the power of fun.
Love it. And finally, our 12th strategy, connect through conflict.
This one might sound a bit counterintuitive at first. Connect through conflict.
Yeah, usually we try to avoid conflict or just shut it down quickly.
Right. But this strategy reframes conflict not as something to be merely stopped, but as an opportunity to teach vital life skills.
What kind of skills?
Skills like communication, perspective taking, negotiation, problem solving, empathy, forgiveness, all the things needed to navigate disagreements constructively.
So instead of seeing a sibling fight as just a disruption,
You see it as a teachable moment. Of course, you step in if things get physical or truly harmful, but often the goal isn't just to impose a solution. Give it back, say sorry.
right, guy, the alternative.
It's to guide them through the conflict. Help each child express their feelings and needs using I statements. I felt angry when you took my truck. Help them listen to understand the other's perspective using mindsight. And then facilitate them brainstorming solutions together. Okay, you both want the red car. How can we solve this problem so you both feel okay?
So you're mediating, but also teaching them the process of conflict resolution.
Exactly. You're using the conflict itself as a learning lab. It turns moments of tension into valuable lessons in how to get along with others, manage disagreements respectfully, and repair relationships. Connecting through the conflict builds skills and relationship strength in the long run.
Wow, okay. 12 really rich strategies there. Let's do a quick flyby recap.
Sure, we had connect and redirect.
Name it to tame it.
Engage, don't enrage.
Use it or lose it.
Move it or lose it.
Use the remote of the mind.
Remember to remember.
Let the clouds of emotion roll by.
Sift, sensations, images, feelings, thoughts.
Exercise mindsight.
Increase the family fun factor.
And connect through conflict.
And the common thread, really, is that all these strategies actively support a child's developing brain, fostering emotional intelligence, cognitive skills, resilience, basically helping them grow into well-adjusted people with healthier relationships.
It's powerful stuff. We really hope you, our listeners, take a moment to maybe mull these over. Think about how they might apply in your interactions with kids.
Or even, like we said earlier, how they resonate with your own experiences, perhaps looking back.
Yeah. And that leads to maybe a final thought to leave you with.
Okay.
Consider this. How might really internalizing this understanding, this insight into the developing brain and emotional needs, shift how we see not just kids, but ourselves, our own emotional patterns, our own reactions?
What might have been different for us, maybe, if these ideas were more common knowledge when we were younger? Or if we'd had adults in our lives consistently using these approaches?
It's definitely food for thought. Something to explore, perhaps.
Ab-
Well, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in and joining us for this deep dive. We hope it gave you some valuable practical insights.
Yes, thank you for spending your time with us. We really enjoyed exploring this.
And hey, if you found this valuable and want more explorations like this, please do like, share this with someone who might benefit, and subscribe to the channel.
We'd love to have you back for our next deep dive. Thanks again.